Okay, students, so let us do the problems related to Born-Haber cycle. In the previous class, we discussed the theory of Born-Haber cycle. Now, let us do the problems related to Born-Haber cycle. The problem given now, enthalpy of formation of NaCl, enthalpy of sublimation of sodium, first ionization energy of sodium, dissociation energy of chlorine, electron affinity of chlorine are given. The values are given. Calculate the lattice energy of sodium chloride using Born-Haber cycle. So that's the equation. So let us write the equation for Born-Haber cycle. It is now delta HF formation. Here now it since it's for NaCl, I can write delta H of NaCl, which is equal to delta H. First now delta H sublimation of sodium plus delta H ionization enthalpy of sodium, and next one half dissociation enthalpy, because now here please remember here chlorine existing as diatomic, so you require only the half mole of chlorine, which means now chlorine in the gaseous state, so we need only 1 mole of chlorine, so half dissociation enthalpy of chlorine we can write now dissociation enthalpy delta H bond dissociation enthalpy, which that is written. Now next is electron gain enthalpy, delta H electron gain enthalpy plus finally lattice energy U0 of NaCl, lattice energy of NaCl. So this is the equation you can remember for enthalpy of formation of a compound by applying Haber's law. Born-Haber cycle. Here now, what are the data they given? They asked you to find lattice enthalpy and delta H formation of NaCl is given, sublimation enthalpy is given, ionization enthalpy is given, half bond dissociation enthalpy value is given, electron gain enthalpy will be given. So this is need to find. So let us apply. Lattice enthalpy of NaCl will be equal to delta H of NaCl minus delta H sublimation of sodium minus delta H ionization of sodium minus half delta H bond dissociation enthalpy of chlorine minus delta H electron gain enthalpy. So what's the value of enthalpy of formation of NaCl? That they given minus 411.2 minus ionization enthalpy of sodium, that's given is 108.4 minus ionization enthalpy is written half bond dissociation enthalpy of first sublimation enthalpy of it is minus 108.4, then ionization enthalpy they given minus it is 495.6 minus half dissociation enthalpy, so half into 242 is electron gain enthalpy of chlorine, so since now it's only 1 mole of Cl atom, we want the electron gain enthalpy of 1 mole of chlorine atom, we have to take half bond dissociation enthalpy, so half into 242 minus of 348, that is no electron gain enthalpy. So apply here, you will get the lattice enthalpy of NaCl. You will get around minus 787.6 kilojoule per mole. Here you can check it. Lattice enthalpy value should be negative because it's the amount of energy that is released when 1 mole of an ionic compound is formed from its constituent ions. So lattice enthalpy will be negative here in while applying the Born-Haber cycle. So let us do the next problem. Next one, calculate the enthalpy of formation of magnesium fluoride from the following data. Sum of first and second ionization enthalpy of magnesium is 2184 kJ per mole. Electron affinity of fluorine minus 334.7 kJ per mole. Dissociation energy of fluorine, which is 158.9 kilojoule per mole. Enthalpy of sublimation of magnesium 146.4 kilojoule per mole. Lattice energy of MgF2 which is equal to minus 2922.5 kilojoule per mole. So you have to find the enthalpy of formation of magnesium fluoride. So how can we find? First, now you have to construct the Born-Haber cycle. So let us write the Born-Haber cycle first. First you think now magnesium first should be converted into magnesium which is solid, which is converted into gas. So that is now converting the solid into gas, that we will call sublimation enthalpy. Next one, converting the gas into ion. Here now magnesium has to convert into magnesium 2 plus ion, which means now first and second ionization enthalpy you have to consider Hi1 and Hi2, because first ionization enthalpy removal of last electron. One more electron required to get Mg2 plus. So Mg2 plus ionization enthalpy is done. So you got magnesium as Mg2 plus. Now next it should be in the gas, right? Next think about fluorine. Fluorine now here fluorine exists F2 which has to convert it into F minus, right? So first of all now you have to convert fluorine into fluorine gaseous atom, that we will call dissociation enthalpy, delta H bond dissociation enthalpy, delta H bond dissociation enthalpy. Next now you have to convert this into convert fluorine into fluoride ion. So now 2F minus, that we will call electron gain enthalpy, delta H electron gain enthalpy. So here now 2 moles of fluorine is required. So half bond dissociation enthalpy is not required. Here now 2 moles of F minus is required. Then only Mg plus 2F2 minus gives. Now if these two combine, you will get MgF2, which is now enthalpy of formation of magnesium fluoride. This is the way you can write 1 mole of Mg plus 1 mole of F2 will give you MgF2. In the case of sodium chloride, it's only half mole of chlorine is required for the formation of sodium chloride. But here 2 moles of fluorine, 1 mole of fluorine is required. F2 is required for the formation of MgF2. So this will be equal to lattice enthalpy of sodium chloride. So no, sorry, so it's not sodium chloride, it's MgF2. We're talking about MgF2, right? So MgF2. So we constructed the Born-Haber cycle. Now let us find the standard enthalpy of formation of magnesium fluoride, delta H formation of magnesium fluoride will be equal to first sublimation enthalpy, delta H sublimation, plus delta H I1 plus delta H I2, that's sum of first and second ionization enthalpy, plus delta H bond dissociation enthalpy, plus delta H electron gain enthalpy, plus lattice enthalpy. So the values are given, you just apply it. Sublimation enthalpy value they given, it is equal to 146.4 plus sum of first and second ionization enthalpy value they given, which is equal to 12184 kilojoule per mole, plus bond dissociation enthalpy of fluorine they given, that is equal to 158.9 plus now electron gain enthalpy of fluorine that is given here. Now you have to remember, it is the amount of energy released when one mole of an atom is converted into its gaseous ion. So here, since now 2 moles is required, so don't forget to multiply by 2 into electron gain enthalpy of fluorine. So 2 into minus 334.7. Here 2 moles of F minus is required for the formation of MgF2. So electron gain enthalpy of 1 mole of fluoride ion into 2 should be done. Plus finally lattice enthalpy of magnesium fluoride, which is equal to minus 22.5. So apply here, now apply this, you will get enthalpy of formation of magnesium fluoride, which is literally equal to minus 1102.6 kilojoule per mole. Okay, so that is the enthalpy of formation of magnesium fluoride. So practice yourself, for your better understanding. If you do such problems, you will understand how a Born-Haber cycle is created, what are the points to remember. So do yourself. Next, let us discuss about ionic compounds. So what is ionic compounds? Ionic compounds, we know ionic compound contain cations and anions. It's not the one cation and anion will be exist in a ionic compound. If you take 1 mole of an ionic compound, you will see Avogadro number 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 sodium ion. We talk about sodium chloride and that much chloride ion, that means anion will be there. So plenty of cations and anions will be there. So if you analyze the structure using the modern technology, you can analyze how these sodium ions and chloride ions are arranged in sodium chloride. Such way we will see ionic compound contains a cation and anions which are arranged in three-dimensionally, to have that minimum distance, because cations and anions are attracted. Similarly, same type of ions do have the repulsion as well. So these ions are regularly arranged three-dimensionally to obtain the crystal lattice structure of sodium chloride. So now let us just check the structure of lattice structure of sodium chloride, which you can draw using pencil and scale. You can draw beautifully. Let me give the how to write the lattice enthalpy structure of sodium chloride. First you draw one rectangle again. Okay, so you can draw it using a pencil. It will give more beautiful picture. So here we know in sodium chloride, sodium ion and chloride ion will be there. So how this will be arranged? Now these are the corners. These are the corners of the crystal unit cell. So it is observed that it is the chloride ion, the anion occupying the corners of the cube, and you will see at the alternating position sodium ion will be there. So sodium ion, chloride ion, they occupying the alternative position in the unit cell. So this is now marked like this. this is actually the chloride ion. Okay, that is chloride ion, and representing with a dot, that is, let it be Na plus. So Na plus ion will be, so let it be arranged with the dots. So here now another sodium ion will be there, and here also you just, if you draw it beautifully, you will get. So here it will be, sodium ion will be there. Here it will be chloride ion. Here again sodium ion. So alternative position, cation and anion will be there. That's something that you can make sure. Similarly here as well. Okay, so this will be, this is the point where sodium ion will be there, and here chloride ion, here again sodium ion. That's the way it will go. Okay, so alternative position, sodium ion and chloride ion. You can draw it, you can complete it. Okay, so this is no, so this is sodium ion, means now you're getting a, here also a sodium ion. This will be a chloride ion. This will be sodium ion. That's the way it will go. Okay, that's the way you can draw. So at the alternative position, this soil, sodium ion and chloride ion will be occupied. So you can complete the structure like this. No more. No, it's require a pencil and this scale to have a correct picture. So you can draw like this. This is the actual structure of sodium chloride. Where we can call this as FCC lattice, face centered cubic lattice. Where sodium ion is occupying at the edges of the cube, and chloride ion occupying at the having the face centered cubic lattice. That means nearly how many particles there are? 8 particles at the 8 corner and 6 particles at the face center. So this chloride ion occupying at the corners as well as face center, and you will see Na plus ion occupying at the edges. Okay, occupying at the edges and body center of the cube. That's the way the sodium chloride structure is all about. You can draw yourself, and you will see the coordination number of each ion will be 6, which means the each cation or anion is surrounded by 6 anions and cations respectively. So the coordination number will be 6, and and one more data that you can remember is this. Yeah, this is the way the three-dimensionally the cations and anions are arranged using X-ray diffraction. You can understand this structure of sodium chloride. So this is the FCC lattice structure of sodium chloride, where sodium ion and chloride ions are occupying at the alternative position. Now let us discuss the properties of ionic compounds. Properties of ionic compound. First one, physical states. We know ionic compounds, most of them are existing as crystalline solids, where three-dimensionally cations and anions are arranged in the space. So which means it is cations followed by anion are attracting each other. There will be repulsion as well, so the minimum distance is kept. So physical state, they most of them are solid, crystalline solids. They have high melting and boiling point. That's another point you can remember, because now the force of attraction is electrostatic force of attraction. So it's very strong, as which means now if you want to melt it, if you want to convert the solids into liquid, you have to provide very high energy. That's why the melting and boiling point will be very high. Next, solubility. We know solubility of any compound we discussed before. We expect most of the ionic solid to dissolve in water, because cations and anions are there. So there is always a polar interaction between the ions and the polar part of water. Since ionic compounds are polar, so polar solute tend to dissolve in polar solvent. But we already studied, still two factors should be considered, that is lattice enthalpy and hydration enthalpy. So if that to consider, you have to tell the correct solubility. Some of the ionic compounds are easily soluble, some of the ionic compounds are not moderately soluble, some of them are this sparingly soluble. So that difference is there, but still you can consider, most of the ionic compounds have a tendency to dissolve in water. Next, electrical conductivity. Talk about conductivity. Most of the ionic solid conduct electricity in the aqueous and molten form. Because now, if you talk about conductivity, the free movement of ions is required. That why ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in the solid state, because cations and anions are fixed in their position. They cannot able to move. Even though ions are present, ions can act as a charge carrier. The movement is restricted due to the electrostatic force of attraction. So that need to be broken, so that now ions can move. If ions can move, they can conduct electricity. That's why in the aqueous state and in the molten form, ionic compounds do conduct electricity. Next, talk about reaction. Reactions of ionic compounds are really fast. We generally say ionic compounds are really fast, because they always in the water they split into cations and anions, and the cation always attract the other side of anions. So there will be ionic reactions takes place very quickly. That's another point we will say. Next, non-directional, because it's cations and anions are arranged three-dimensionally, and you will see in almost all directions. So that why we generally say the structure are generally non-directional in nature. So that's a point you can learn related to ionic compounds. Okay. So next class we can discuss what is polarization of ion is all about, which is nothing but we're talking about the covalent nature in an ionic compound. Okay, related to Fajans rule. Okay, thanks for listening. Let us wind up.